a really cool game. He's the same person who designed the Witcher 3 board game, Witcher 3, I mean just Witcher, that we haven't broadcast yet, but we will. To those of you who watch this show on Twitch, or I'm looking away from the microphone again, who watch the show on Twitch or on YouTube, you may notice that this kind of image area is a little bit darker than usual. I'm trying some new lighting, and I would love your feedback. If you could let us know if you kind of like what we're doing with it. We're going to be adding another daylight lamp by the next broadcast, which will be behind the camera, kind of on this side. If you notice, this kind of area is a little bit darker than up here, and it's because our lamps are on this side and this side. But we're trying to make it look more natural, and some of the things I've noticed in our previous broadcasts is there's a lot of yellow in the color balance, regardless of what we set the webcam to. And so I apologize for this being dark. That will be different next week, and if you like this look, let us know. If you want us to continue to play with it, we certainly will. All right, so Robinson Crusoe, we are on a deserted island. That's the gist of it, and we have a certain amount of time, in this case 10 rounds, and it's apparently going to snow every round from 6 on. That's fun. We have to survive until the end. Now, every scenario has an objective. You can also play for points. We're not going to do the victory point stuff for the simple fact that we probably won't do this scenario again for a while. But when you play Robinson Crusoe, what's neat about this game is you can take one scenario and play it 50 times, and it's just as fun even if it's the same scenario. And there's different ways you can challenge yourself to make the scenario a little bit more difficult by basically scoring yourself and see if you can beat your previous high score, which I think is a really cool concept. And we may someday do that, but right now we're still working on the scenarios. The scenario we've chosen is the Cursed Island scenario, so I'm just going to read the setting and also what our goals are. So, you were part of an exorcist's expedition, but during the dreadful storm, your ship was sunk. You crawl upon the cursed island you were meant to land on. You're in a bad way, with no hope of calling for help, but you must still accomplish your mission, the exorcism. So the goal of the scenario is we have to build the cross item 5 times, and this will show us on the scenario board, which nobody can see because I don't have it on screen. These are the 2 items we're going to have to build, and I'll explain what we need for them. But we have to build the cross item 5 times, each time on a different island tile. So now the fog kind of makes sense. And then anytime we build a cross, we're going to have a blue marker that we're going to place out there so that we can keep track of when we have that done. So we need 5 of those. We also have the ability to build a sacred bell, which allows you to basically ring the bell, and you can remove 3 fog tokens from the game. And we'll explain we've already placed the fog on the top of the map, folks. You'll notice 2 white cubes. That is mysterious fog. Now, there can never be more than 1 cube on a map tile, so if we are asked to put more out, we have to place them in other locations, even if it's a location that's detrimental to us. If there's ever, in fog stands for -1 explorer, so -1 resource worker. So in some cases where you need to use 2, you won't be able to. If ever there is a fog marker on the tile that has our camp token, which is that little circle thing right there, that right now is just like a little fire pit. Even if it's a settlement, if we have fog there, then we don't produce resources from that tile that particular turn. Because you can't go out and collect resources, you can't see anything. So that's going to be fun.
We're going to be making bells.
Yeah. You treat the terrain type of a tile with a fog marker on it as unexplored, even if you've explored there. So if we have uncovered tiles there, we don't get to do anything with them, really. And then if you want to build a cross on a tile with fog, this action requires assigning 1 more pawn than normal. So essentially, you're just subtracting a pawn.
Yeah.
So if you normally would only have to place 1, you have to place 2. If you have to place 2, you would have to use 3. So and we only each have 2 pawns. And that will be explained in the rule how we kind of can combine our efforts so that folks can have enough pawns to do things. So the first thing we're going to do is roll off to see who goes first. Normally the rules say that the youngest player goes first. I never use that rule because I am never, ever, ever the youngest player. You guys need to grow older. Just be older than me. Well, yeah, but go faster. Okay. Eat a lot of really bad processed foods so that you feel older, and we'll go by how old you feel. Whoops, I just knocked our camp into oblivion. And rolled a 5 for the second week in a row.
6.
Now roll a
You got
7
the
just
7.
because
It's 7.
if you don't, you ruin everything.
10.
You do that with everything. That's usually what I do. So it's fair.
7.
Oh, there we go.
No.
One of these
No,
bears.
here's the thing, because I have to go first. If I roll that die, I always have to go first. So
That's
it just
true.
threw me out of the whack so that I would make sure I go
This
first.
is true.
So-
And then we
so
kept
it
the
should have made you roll an 8. It should have, but it's not going to do that because it's just how it goes.
That was awesome. Okay, so you get to pick your character first. Now these are double-sided, so what I would recommend to do is put it under the table, shuffle up, and grab a character.
Okay.
Here you go.
I don't know. Maybe I should just take the sailor so that someone doesn't have to be the sailor.
Hey, sailor.
It's okay.
No,
As soon as
that's in time stories.
If Sue is becoming the sailor, we'll explain why that's funny. If she doesn't, sorry guys, it's a mystery that will never be solved.
All right.
I forgot we're gonna need some of the. Oh, we won't. We won't.
All right. I am the cook, and apparently I'm
The cook is actually awesome.
Hand it to me under the table so don't see.
yeah. There you go. You know, just because
You can be a male or female cook.
I'm gonna be the lady cook.
All right.
It's
The
ridiculous.
stats are exactly the same.
Yeah.
There's no change in it.
No, but look at if you were to look at those pictures, look at that dude.
Yeah, he's like a big,
Like burly
nice
dude.
looking guy.
I mean, look at that lady.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't rather
Yeah.
be that lady? Seriously, come on.
I got it.
I agree.
I don't disagree with you. You will have the yellow token. Sorry, Aaron.
Although he and not to mention the fact he's killed the squid.
So
That's
there.
not acceptable to me. So
See, you don't even have to be. Oh, actually, she's pretty cool looking.
she is cool.
Can you give that to Ian?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the
Stealer
lady.
of my yellow token. I see how it is.
It's all your fault.
I'm the lady.
This is also
soldier.
for Ian. And
We should just be a team of ladies.
This is
You
for
should be.
like all women crash on the island and then they
No, wait.
exorcise the demons.
get
That's
two?
also everybody has 2 tokens,
Oh.
and they're double-sided based on
Two
like
people?
your
Oh dang it! I didn't bring those over.
What?
I'll have to bring it tomorrow. Rat Queens.
rat queens.
Yes, it's a really cool comic series. I'll have to.
Ooh.
Just do it for you to read.
You're going to be black.
Keep
There you
pushing
go.
that radiator out.
That's what she does. She breaks everything. She looks so cute with her feet folded over like that, though. She gets away with it. One of these days, you won't be cute. I know it'll happen. Everybody grows old, even cats. All right. So I'm gonna end up being
The sailor.
probably. I hope one of us is. I think it's the soldier that gets the exploration bonuses. So we'll have that. I'm the sailor. How did you know? There's 2 choices left. So oops.
Apparently, I get the one that didn't. You just decided to hold on.
Where's the?
So yeah, carpenter or something, explorer or carpenter as my.
What the heck is the sailor? Oh, blue. All right.
I am the explorer.
Aha. So
We have no
Dora! She's with us.
Yes!
You
Oh,
have,
that is
you have to
painful.
be. You
I
have to
don't.
be.
I don't know.
no confidence.
So she's a little militant.
I'd rather be that. though.
Do you want to be the carpenter? Because
Oh, no,
we could use
it's
one.
No.
They're both actually really
I like the
good.
Geico commercial with Dora.
Hooray,
you did it! Yeah.
I like that you can't skip this commercial because it's already over and they're all frozen and they're just like moving
Yeah,
around and
that's
stuff.
happened like several times for me. I'm like,
The first time I saw it on YouTube, I got a kick out of
But
it.
the thing that makes me laugh is that they're like,
Oh, this is for you.
is that they do that and then technically it's not over.
Like, it's like dog runs by, like, we know, that didn't happen. I'm gonna explain what all this stuff means in a second, but so I can squeeze my sailor up. Oh, you can actually see it on screen.
12.
And then
I
if
think
you
I'm
could,
taking the
Ian-
hardier one.
okay, if you could go through that little invention stack, and there should be a raft in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need the
I
raft.
have 12 hit points.
And
Raft.
did you get your?
Nope.
Those are your guys, but I didn't give you your hit point marker, did I? Thank you. 1 second. Here you go. And then Aaron needs the shortcut, which I believe I had already pulled out. That should be in that stack near you. I'll need those back afterwards. I'll put them.
Shortcuts.
And then Ian needs.
Fireplace.
That's probably in his stack.
Oh, was
He
Yep.
needs a skillet.
Yep, I got it.
And then you want to flip it to this side, which shows you what you need to be able to create it.
Okay.
Only you're able to create it. Once it's created, it's going to be placed on the board. If you notice, there's 4 extra spaces for inventions. If you create it and build it, everybody can use it.
Okay.
But only we can build it.
Okay.
And then the extra cards that thank you, that will go this way.
Do I give you these, or do these stay out?
Mine doesn't need anything to be made.
Yeah, those are regular inventions that anybody can make.
I don't need to make it. It's already made.
Really?
There's no requirement to make the shortcut. It's just made.
Oh yeah, because you actually find the shortcut. You just have to take time to figure out where you want to place it. Because once you place it, you can't place it again.
Yeah.
Let me get the shortcut for you. Can I see what the picture looks like? I think it's just a green. Yep, it is.
I don't understand which. So
So does yours?
That's the side that you want. That'll make sense once I explain the rules.
okay.
It's going to tell you what you need to be able to make stuff. The heck is the shortcut?
I don't think I need anything to make it either.
I think you need the fire.
No, his is
mine is automatic too. I think.
his is automatic too.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's the
Yep.
shortcut.
He just doesn't have a requirement.
It literally
Ooh.
just I use food and heal too.
It does have requirements right here. Fire.
Oh, it's up at the top. Yeah.
Yep. Whatever's on the top is the requirement.
I get it. Okay.
So you need the
So like for me, I
The
need
fire.
rope and I need a piece, 2 pieces of wood.
so you need the fire invention.
Yep.
Oh, does that mean mine needs the map?
Oh yeah.
I need the map.
So when you build the map, which we can't build yet, this is all gonna make sense once I explain the rules. So if you notice, you have essentially 2 workers. The other thing we're gonna each need is we're gonna need a number of these black tokens. So some of those are gonna come this way. So I need 3. You're gonna need 4. Ian's gonna need 4. Actually, everybody's gonna need 4.
I don't have that many.
Let's each just take 2.
Well, mine are something I have to do to use them anyway.
Yeah, mine too. So if we just need at least, because what you do is you use these black tokens to keep track of which ones you've used. You can only use them once a turn.
Okay.
So we'll each take 1 token and we'll use them as we need them. If we need more because we use more than 1 power, then we'll use them. Because not all of these tokens are going to be on the board forever.
Yeah.
Because once you build an invention, those tokens go away. So we'll just start with 1. I have some white tokens as well that we can use, but we need them for fog right now. So, so that's how that's going to go. So now there's certain phases in the game. There's a number of phases, and if you look at the top left of the board, they're actually illustrated for you next to the adventure deck. And the first is the event phase, which we will be skipping. I'm going to explain what it is. Essentially, we start out with food crates as our event, but normally with the event phase, you draw a card from the top there and you place it right here. If there's a card already here, it slides this way, and it will continue to do that. So if we then draw one here and we have to draw another one the next phase, if this is still here, it slides away. What that means with the food crates is this is potentially free food that we can get. If it gets knocked off the board before somebody goes here to collect the food, we lose it.
Okay.
Now, normally what an adventure has, in most cases, is it has a positive and a negative effect. Sometimes it has just a negative effect. It depends on where it came from.
All right.
But what will happen is it has a negative effect when it comes out, sometimes a positive. Same thing, when it goes off the board, sometimes it has a positive effect, but it's very rare. Almost always it's a negative effect, sometimes catastrophically negative. So you'll want to look at, we'll read them as we get them. But, like, for example, this one says, you notice food crates scattered along the shore, which makes sense, we just crashed. So you can place 1 worker, and I'll explain what that means afterwards, but if you place 1 worker in this section to take care of this card, you gain 1 food. If you place 2 workers, you get 2 food, and then this card eventually gets discarded. Now, if this goes off the board, it says nothing happens, so we don't get anything good or bad. But down on the bottom, typically in this little kind of section right here, it will have a negative effect. If it flies off the board, something terrible will happen most of the time. So that's something we're going to need to keep track of every single turn. We will not be getting a new card this first turn. This is our adventure card for the first turn. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. That happens first. Also, the other thing I want to mention, whoever has the first player token, it's going to be Ian this first turn, then it's going to pass to Sue next turn. Whoever has the first player token is responsible for the morale track. And what I mean by that is during the morale phase, when we get to it, which I think is the second phase, actually, so might as well talk about it now. When you get to the morale phase, you look at the track, which is where that white token is at the top. If it has a -1 or 2, those are determination tokens. The determination, of course, basically tracks how determined we are to complete our goals. Are you starting to get depressed? Are you really thinking that you can accomplish it? And so we will have determination tokens at some point. I don't think we start with any. I'm just going to double check just to make sure, but I believe we do not. We start with 2 pawns, 1 wound, and we do not start with determination. I just wanted to make sure. They don't make it that easy for you, though. But if you have to pay, then you pay. If you can't pay, there's a punishment for it. Anytime we have to give something that and we can't, there's a punishment for it, and I'll explain that in a minute. But whoever the first player token is responsible for paying determination when required, and they will be the person who gains determination. So if the morale track is up, if you notice it goes into 1, 2, and then 2, or you have a choice of healing a wound. So anytime there's a slash, it's either or. You would be the one that collects. So it sounds like a great thing. It's just a way to make sure that everybody hopefully gets some determination, and if things need to be spent, it's not one person always doing it. His determination also powers our special abilities. We're going to read off our special abilities once we've gone through all the rules so that folks who are watching will know what we have at our disposal as far as skills that will help us accomplish our goals. So so we have the first is the event phase, which we'll be ignoring this first time. Then we move into morale. In this case, not much is happening because it's on 3. Production phase, what that means is we're going to gain a resource wherever our camp is. Our camp currently is on the beach, and the beach produces wood and food. And you will get 1 of each. So we'll get 1 wood, 1 food. When we gain these resources from the production phase, they will go into the bottom section of that square up there. See that it's got 2 boxes? That means it's available to us immediately. Anything we gain during the action phase will go into the top. That means it will not be available until overnight. So once nighttime falls, we basically go back to camp and we start going through our resources that we gathered. This becomes important as far as timing of what we are able to create, because things that we invent, if there's a prerequisite, it must be available at the time we invent it. So if I, for example, want to create a raft, I need 2 wood and 1 rope. So the wood already has to be in the bottom. The rope already has to have been created the previous turn. If I make the rope this turn, I cannot also make the raft, because the whole day it took me to make the rope, basically. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what the production phase is. And then the third phase is the action phase. This is the biggest part of a turn, where everybody will be doing stuff, and it's also the longest part of the turn, because there are many, many, many things you can choose to do. The first thing we're going to do, and this is all simultaneous during this phase, so once we get to, after we know what we have for resources, we will then place our pawns. We each have 2 pawns. We can talk about what we want to do. We can ask for help in different scenarios of what we want to do, and we can offer help. So it's like a big discussion round, essentially. And what you can do is you can hunt, you can build, you can gather resources, you can explore, arrange the camp, or rest. And the other thing you can do is do the threat action. So and what you do is you place your token or your pawn in the exact spot of the things you want to do. So let's say I want to do the threat. This is considered a threat even though it's a benefit. I'm going to place my worker here. Now I may say that I don't want to place 2 workers here because there's something else I want to do, and I might say, would anybody else join me here so that we can get some food? Or I might just be like, you know what, we're going to get 2 food from me, you guys do what you want. So that you place it exactly where you want to do your thing. The next thing you're going to do is, if you want to hunt, you would place your workers here. You must have 2 people to hunt. Whether it's yours or anyone else's, this is not an either or. There are some, if you notice, have a slash. Hunting requires 2 people. We can't currently hunt because there are no animals near us. As the game progresses, we're going to be drawing cards face down, literally just like this, and we're going to build a hunt deck. When they start appearing, that means we know that there are animals nearby. We've tracked them. We've noticed them. We can then start hunting. This will start happening pretty much every turn. So really the first turn we're not going to do a lot of hunting because we just got on the beach. It makes total sense. I like this mechanic, how they did it. Hunting will get you food, and it will get you furs. Food obviously feeds us at night. Furs enables us to actually enhance our camp. And it makes it's a little bit Furs are harder to get because you have to fight to get them, but the neat thing about them is it takes less fur than it takes wood to be able to build stuff. So to build stuff, it takes, based on the number of players. So if we want to build a settlement, for example, it's going to take us 4 wood or 3 fur. So, that's the way they do it. And I'll go into that a little bit more in just a second. With building, what you're going to do is you're going to place your pawn or pawns in the area that you want to build in. So right now, I could build the shovel, and I would place my pawn on the shovel, or 2 pawns if I want to have more success. I'll explain what that means in a second, but that's why it says 1 or 2. If I want to build a settlement, I can't build a roof or a fence yet because you need a settlement first. So if I want to build a settlement, what I'm going to do is put my pawns up where the settlement is. If I want to build a weapon, which will increase our weapon strength, I'm going to go up there and it costs 1 wood and I'm going to build a weapon. And so I can do that. So that's what building, does that kind of make sense as far as building?
I think so, yeah.
Anytime we choose an action that has 1 pawn or 2 pawns as a choice, I can say I'm just going to go 1. So I'll go up there and build my palisade. I'm going to put 1 pawn there. In order to be able to do that action, if I don't have somebody helping me, I have to see if an adventure happens, and I also have to see if I'm successful in doing this task by myself. That's what these dice mean.
Okay.
You're going to roll the dice, and you need at least 1 success. And what the success looks like, it looks like it's not on this die. So apparently that die is just wounds. It's supposed to look like a V. There we go. Yeah. It looks like a V. It also looks like the settlement. If you get a V, at least one of those, then you were successful. You have to resolve all the other dice first, though.
Yeah.
So in this case, I would take a wound. Usually you resolve your wounds first. Just take those. I have to go on an adventure, and I also succeeded.
Okay.
So when you go on an adventure, you just draw a card and you do what it says.
Okay.
It's possible not to succeed. The other token that you're going to see is these 2 little circles with plus signs on them. I don't know if anybody can see. That is really hard to see because it's a dark die, but oh, there we go, right there. What that means is you didn't succeed, but you get 2 determination tokens.
Oh, okay.
Now, if I had a V and 2 determination tokens, I don't think you can. I think it's the only dice that has it, actually, so never mind. And it's just color-coded just to make it easier so you know which card to draw. Each of those, so this is building, this is gathering, and that's exploration. So those 3 particular activities are going to need at least 2 people if you don't want to deal with the dice. Okay. Once in a while you may see one of these on it. And the adventure cards will tell us to place those out. What that means is when you take that action, you will go on an adventure no matter what. Okay. You resolve that. You still have to roll the dice to see if you also get wounded and things if you only go with 1 person, but it doesn't matter how many people you go with, you're going to have an adventure. Okay. And then as soon as you do have the adventure, the token goes away.
I know. Kill you both.
You want to go on an adventure.
In your sleep.
Oh my god. And then what gathering is you can again do it with 1 or 2 pawns, and you can go to explored island tiles. Right now we only have 1. And we wouldn't be able to actually go there and get stuff because that would have already produced the food. But as we go through the island, we're going to have other tiles. And what you do is you place your token where you want to gather, because you can only gather from one or the other.
Okay.
So if I want to do 2 separate gather actions, I can say this is 1 action and this is the other, which means I could potentially go on 2 adventures or take 2 wounds or what have you. But typically, if I want to just not have to deal with that, I'm going to place 2 here. I'm going to be gathering wood this turn, or I'm going to be gathering fish. You can't gather in 1 action. You cannot gather from each. It's not like production where you just get everything.
Right.
Does that make sense as far as gathering? Same thing with the dice. If you only bring 1 person over there, it's luck of the draw. And then the last thing, of course, is exploration. And the way exploration works is you place your pawn where you want to explore. So I might go here, or I might go here. And you're going to want to bring at least 2 people. It is possible to go, what is it, 2 spaces away, I think? Let me just check, because these are all, here we go. You can go to adjacent to the island tile where your camp is. So we can do any of these 3 tiles right now. Camps can be moved, by the way. We can move them later. But for now, these 3 spots are the only spots we can explore right now, or 1 explored tile away from the island. What that means, right now we can't do it, so I wouldn't be able to go here. But let's say Aaron explored here 1 turn. And so now we have this. I can explore here if I want to. If I want to go here, I must bring 2. If the camp is here and I'm going 1 explore tile away, I must bring 2 people with me. And if I bring 2 people, that's just to even explore. But if I bring 2 people with me, I'm rolling the dice.
Okay.
If I bring 3 people with me, then I don't have to do the dice.
Okay.
That's going to make more sense once we have tiles on the board. But essentially what you're doing is you're just kind of moving away from camp. And it has to be a place you have already explored to be able to do that. This is as far as you're going to be able to go away until we move to the camp. And again, you can ask questions as we go through this, but it'll make a little bit more sense as we go. But that's essentially the exploration. The other thing to think about with building is, as I explained before, the middle, on the top where our settlement is, you've got on the leftmost, you've got what looks like a tent. That's a settlement. You can find settlements. They're possible to find them, but you either find one or build one before you can do the roof or the palisades. Okay. The roof protects you from the weather. The settlement helps. Right now we'll be taking damage at night if all we have is a campfire because we'll be sleeping in the open. Okay. If we find or create a settlement, it's harder to move, but it's still possible to move it. But we can start building a roof which will protect us from snow and rain, and we can build the palisade which will protect us from hungry animals which will eventually start attacking our camp. Okay. Those are fun. So that's another thing that we can do. Same thing with the weapon. You can build the weapon again. Need 1 or 2 people, and we do need some resources to be able to build some of those things. As we explore tiles, the aspect of exploration is, if you notice, on all of these, a lot of these inventions. I'm trying to say inventions, but I'm saying adventures. There's some diamonds on there that have like images. Yeah. And when you explore, if you notice, there's a diamond with an image. As we explore different locations, we'll find the plains, we'll find mountains, we'll find rivers. And when we do, Aaron's going to put little black squares on those. Okay. What that means is we now have the ability to find the resources to create those inventions. They are now able to be built. So right now, the only invention we can actually build is the shovel. Okay. More stuff will unlock. And then if you notice, other inventions on the top show that you need a prerequisite invention to be able to create it. So like, for example, the lantern, we have to find the hills. We have to explore and find a hilly area. Once we've done that, we also need to build the fire.
The bow.
Yep. So to build like belts, you need 1 fur, but you also have to have built the knife already. Now, what that means is you cannot build 2 things at the same time. I cannot make the knife and then take a fur that we already had and make a belt because I didn't have the knife. It took me time. It took me that day to make the knife. So if that makes sense. Anything that you build will go into the top box, just like anything we acquire will go into the top box. And at night it will flip over to the invention side. If you notice, there's a side where it actually just tells you what it is and what it does. And then that invention can be used by all players once it flips. The other thing is we each have our own invention. So I have a raft, Aaron has the shortcut, and you have the spear, and I believe you have the fireplace. And what will happen is only we can build these. So when you take the build action, just put your pawn on the card. Once you've built it, flip it over and put it in the, or have Aaron put it in the top box, and then, well, again, it'll go into our inventions pile as completed inventions. If we use it or it gets destroyed, it will come back to us, only we can invent a new one. Okay. Other inventions are not the same. If we lose our knife, we can make another one. Any of us can do it. Okay. Does that make sense as far as inventions and all that? The other, last thing for exploration, we don't see it yet, but on tiles you'll find symbols. Some of them might look like a little tiki idol like this, and that's a mystery. Now normally you're going to draw a mystery card. I've got those on your side, and that's what that deck is. But in this scenario we have the ability to do other things, so I'm going to real quick talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the special exploration tokens that you get. So in this case, the first time you run into a tile with that token, that mystery tiki temple, that's a dark temple. So in any of the following rounds, you can take an exploration action to draw 4 mystery cards instead of just 1. You get 4 mystery cards, and you only resolve 3 treasures and then 1 monster. So you don't have to deal with, if you notice, it has 3 symbols on there. The top is a monster, the middle is treasure, the bottom is a trap. So you only have to deal with 1 monster, and you resolve 3 treasures, and you can only take that action once per game.
Okay.
So once it's been done, we'll put a little token here so that we know that it's been done.
Okay.
Now, we could potentially do any of these, but you have to do this one before you can do this one.
Okay.
The next time, it's the Altar of Death.
Mm-hmm.
The player who explored the tile with this icon gets 2 wounds. And then the third and fourth time, we get those symbols. It's a cultist hideout.
Mm-hmm.
You put a fog marker on each tile that has one of these little tokens on it.
So we don't want to find them after the first one.
Yeah, we don't, but we're going to. That's the
Right.
thing. But the first one, we only get to do that one time. And
So whoever hits it first does it, or does each person get to do it once? Though?
what's going to happen is when the tile comes out, we're going to put a token on it, and then when you use it, you take the token away.
Okay.
And then this is going to appear on the next one. We'll put that out, and then these 2 will appear, the 3 and 4. And then afterwards, any others that we get won't matter. We just do the mystery card as normal.
Yeah.
Now, there's symbols on here. We're not going to worry about this right now. We will eventually find these, and those are the mystery tokens. That's the tokens that are also in front of you. I've got all the mystery stuff in front of you, Ian.
Okay.
So mystery explorer tokens, what they are, they're bonus goodies. Most of the time, it's a benefit. With these symbols, these are going to be story related, and so there might be some benefits and there might be some detriments. So we don't know. A lot of it, like if you notice, we get cultist candles, which gives us an extra worker. It actually looks like everything is good. So that's nice. Sometimes you don't get that. So what'll happen is sometimes there'll be these symbols, sometimes you find food. So what's going to happen is if I go onto a tile that says draw 2 exploration tokens, draw 2 at random from that pile and just stick them in the top.
Okay.
And so we'll get to use those resources at night.
Okay.
It's just freebies. It's awesome. So, and I don't think there's any negatives in them. Unless the scenario says so, and the scenario, these are all positives. So when we find one of these weird symbols, just show it to me and I'll let you know what we got.
Okay.
And I think there's only like 1 or 2 of each of these symbols in there. Most of the time it's just food and fur and stuff.
Okay.
We can also build our cross. That's going to cost us 2 wood for each cross we want to build. So if we take a build action and want to do the cross, just let me know. And I'll put your pawn here. We can also build the sacred bell, which you first have to find the hills before we can even do it. And then it costs, I think, rope.
Yep.
Yep, we just have to have rope, and we have to have found the hills.
The bells.
This is a brilliant rope.
So those are, and the bells are what remove the fog. Gets rid of, I think, 3. That's a nice one to have. And then, of course, the crosses are what we need. We need 5 of those. And if we do that, we win. So so far building and exploration and all that crap make sense? It's actually pretty cut and dry. Just keeping track of what's going on each round is sometimes difficult. The other thing you can do, sorry?
How do we build the crosses?
To build the cross, you need 2 wood and take a build action.
That's not bad.
No, it's not real. Well, although we'll need wood to stay alive as well.
And right now we're only getting 1 a turn.
Yep. And every night we need it to cook our food.
And we have 10 rounds.
Yes. And it's going to start snowing, so we're going to lose wood every round. You'll see. It's going to. It seems like it's easy. It's not. Then if you notice at the end there's kind of like that blue. It's covered a little bit by that card, but these are the last 2 actions. Come on, slide over. There. That's arranging the camp. Now we have a 4-player game, so we don't get both benefits. We only get one of the benefits. So for arranging the camp, if you place your pawn there, and you can put as many, it says 1 pawn, but that just means you only need one of your own pawns.
Right.
Aaron and I can both arrange the camp if we want to. What you get for arranging the camp is you can get 2 determination, or you can move the morale track up by 1. So, it's a great way to get determination if you need it, and determination does a lot of things. Or if you want to move the morale track
I assume
up.
that means that as we get injured, the morale track goes down. As we
And it never goes back up when you heal.
Okay.
So essentially what they talk about in the game is as you take wounds, when the morale track goes down, it's basically you're complaining so much, it's driving everybody's morale down.
I'm glad I chose what I chose.
And then when you heal, like you don't really, you don't.
I have to take 5 wounds before my first morale hit.
And then another like 4 or 5.
And another
it's like
5.
Yeah.
Yes,
Your
I can
morale
potentially take
goes
4
down
morale
once.
hits.
My morale goes down once.
Yeah.
After a couple, I'm like, this sucks so bad, and then I just get used to it and I suck it up.
Yep, the captain tells you to suck it up.
Yep, and I'm
Stop
like,
complaining.
But yeah, so that's what arranging the camp does.
A lot.
Multiple players.
I'm the cook. I'm grumpy.
Multiple players can arrange the camp. You just don't have to have multiple players to do it, if that makes sense. And then the last thing you can do is rest. If you put your pawn on the rest thing, and again, it only has one pawn there, meaning you're only going to use one of your pawns to do it. But multiple people are allowed to take that action. And when you rest, you heal a wound. I think actually you might heal more than one wound. Let me just double check to be safe. La 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 la. La 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 la. Nope, you just heal one. That's nice. Now with hunting, I'm not going to go too much into it, but basically when you hunt, you're going to take damage no matter what. Just be aware. You'll probably also break your weapon. Or our weapon. When we get to hunting, we'll do that in more detail, but I don't want to like show off the cards because they're shuffled. So when that happens, things will happen. Now when you're hunting or doing really any action, if somebody's helping you, what you're going to want to do, this is how we've done it. I don't know if you remember this, Aaron, but you want to decide who the person who is taking the action is and who the support person is. Because the person taking the action may get a benefit or may take damage or may do whatever. So when you're hunting or exploring or building...
So if you're helping me, I'm the active player, so
He'll put
you
his
don't
pawn on
take the
top.
damage and complain.
Right. But the way that would work, let's say Aaron helps me hunt. He would put his token underneath mine, so we know that I've got the support, but I'm the one that's taking the most risk. Now, it might say that both get damaged, but the point is you want to know who is actually performing the action, who the support person is. And then after all that happens, I believe we move on to the weather phase is next. And the weather phase sucks. Oh, the other thing I want to bring up is we may get additional pawns, and they're color-coded by the type of activity that they can do. So if you notice down here with the belts, I think that's gray. Is that gray?
Yeah.
That means that particular pawn will have another pawn on the board for as long as we have that invention. And what that means is that person can help with gathering. That person cannot do it on their own. They are just a support character. And then at the end with the lanterns, I think we have brown. I think that's
builder.
For,
And then the map gives us an explorer.
Yeah, and there's other things where you can get bonuses too, but remember, they're always support. They will never do their own actions. Weather phase is next. If you notice, we will not have weather for the first few rounds, but we will start getting
Snow.
Now, what this means is, it doesn't mean we won't ever be rolling weather dice in the first 5 rounds, but we're guaranteed to get snow.
So you want me? So for this scenario, you want me to end up with a lot of determination.
You
Because
probably
once per round, I can discard 3 determination to wipe out the weather die entirely, or I can change a snow into a rain instead.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So the first 5 rounds, basically per the game rules, we will not be rolling weather dice. There are adventure cards that will cause different types of weather to happen. So even though we normally won't have it for the scenario, we may still be rolling dice. Now, what typically will happen is first you add up the total of winter clouds on the dice and or any tokens. Sometimes you just get a token, it's automatic weather. But if you notice we've got rain, even on the orange die, which is typically a rain die, there should be, I believe, a snow icon. So it could be freezing rain, I guess.
Oh gosh.
So you add all of your winter clouds, so any of these, that's what these are. That's a winter cloud. And you add all of these first. You have to discard 1 wood for each winter cloud, regardless of your current roof level. Roof protects you from rain. Does not protect you from cold. And so essentially what you're doing is you're burning wood to stay warm. If you can't, each person, that means all of us, will take 1 wound for each piece of wood that we cannot burn. So fun, right?
Yeah.
I hate the cold.
Then you compare the total number of all clouds, both rain and winter clouds, from dice and tokens to the current roof level. I can't say roof and level. Roof level. Roof level. Roof level. The roof level indicates the number of clouds you are protected from. If there are more clouds than your current roof level, discard 1 food and one wood for each cloud that you are not protected from. You have to use it to stay warm and healthy. So see how the game gets really hard, really quick?
Weather. We're enemy.
And then again, for every resource that cannot be discarded, you will take a wound again. So that's fun. And then we may sometimes have to roll this. It will not happen in our scenario naturally, but these guys are animals that will come and eat our food. Or destroy our walls. That's fun too. So yeah, good stuff. Once we've done all of the weather, we move into the night phase, in which case if there's any food left, we all have to eat some. Discard 1 food per player. If you do not have a food, you have to decide who goes hungry, and that person will take a wound.
Okay.
The other fun thing is food is perishable. If you don't eat it during the night, it rots and goes away the next morning.
Oh, joy.
Unless you have like the cellar, which I don't even think we have.
No.
Do we have that out? Ah, yay! That was a great random draw from me. The cellar, but you can find it too, though. You
Yeah.
can find resources in adventuring to build the cellar, which I really hope happens, because then you can put your food in it and it won't spoil. There are some food that we will be able to collect sometimes that doesn't spoil, and I think maybe you can cook food if we get meat. I think you can cook it and make it non-perishable. Can you dry food? I don't know if the cook can do that.
No, I have Grandma's recipe. Recipe, which means I can discard 2 determination to heal 2 wounds by eating 1 food. So basically,
Okay.
I make food more efficient.
Nice.
I have Scrounger, so when I say I find something, I'll find it. I simply have to look in the right place, so I can discard 2 determination to reroll any gray die. Then I have Stone Soup, which basically means lack of ingredients doesn't mean I can't cook. A good cook can make a soup out of nothing, and I'm a damn good cook, mates. I discard 3 determination to get a food.
That's not bad.
And then my Hooch, which is the I know it's cold, but don't worry, I prepared something for such bad weather, and that's where I discard 3 determination to
Basically get us drunk so we don't have it.
to cancel out the weather, or it doesn't. I can't quite tell. Oh, so it's to cancel out. I can either discard 3 determination to cancel rain, or turn snow into rain.
We basically make brandy and we just don't care.
Yeah.
We're like, that's snow, it's nice and warm.
Makes me think it is.
After we've eaten, the other thing we need to look at is whether we want to move the camp. If we can move the camp, and also if we're the ones who built the settlement, we can move the settlement. If we move a settlement and we have a roof and a palisade built, we will lose half of its benefit. So it will move down, round it up. So if we have a roof level 4 and we move the settlement, we lose 2 because we have to take it apart and it doesn't get put back together the right way until we build again. So moving the camp can help us get more resources. It also gives us the ability to explore more around. And then once we decide whether or not to do that, if we're sleeping in the open, so if we have just a camp and we don't have a settlement at all, we will take 1 wound for sleeping in the open. So there's lots of ways to die. If any one person dies in this game, we lose.
Okay.
Oh,
Also, if we don't complete our objectives,
I guess
we lose.
we can't. My idea for food was, well, we can kill one of us. And
Apparently, Donner Party is not the way to win this game.
No. And then the last thing is we also would, if we have abilities to heal, we can do our healing, and if we've used any of our special abilities, the tokens come off that special ability. We get them again for the next day. So does that make sense for the rules? And we've got the rulebook if we need to, check it. If it gets confusing, let me know. I think it should be pretty. The game itself isn't hard to know how to play. It's just hard to succeed because the game's evil. And at the end of the night phase, when we move on to the next phase for the adventure phase, the first player token will move clockwise, and that person has to deal with the morale track and all that fun stuff. So we start with Ian. We already know what your special abilities are, so let's look at Sue's character's special abilities, if you could read those.
Okay, tracking. I discard 2 determination to look at the top card from the hunting deck and put it back on top,
Nice.
or the bottom.
So if you look at it, you're like, grizzly bear? No.
Yeah.
Tiger? No.
The hunt.
Beaver? Yes.
The hunt. Discard 2 determination to increase. What is that?
Palisades.
That's
Yeah,
palisades.
that or the skull. Is that attack?
That's attack power.
Attack power by 1 point.
Yeah.
So either or.
Nice.
Frenzy. Discard 3 determination to
Yeah.
temporarily add +3 attack level for the action that she takes. I assume that means me.
Oh, that's nice.
And
So if you're hunting, you can be like, I'm going to take a bunch of damage, or not.
defense plan is to discard 4 determination to put the top beast card from the beast deck onto the hunting deck without looking at it.
Oh, interesting.
So if you
It's
look
just
at
a
it
freebie
first,
beast.
and then you use that other power.
Yep. Or even if we really need to hunt, we just don't have a hunting deck, she can actually start creating it early.
Yeah.
So that's not bad.
And that's it.
And then for me, I have a great swimmer. We will use the river. It will be faster. I can discard 2 determination to ignore the river tile in terms of calculating distance on the island during the gathering resources or exploration actions.
Nice.
So I might potentially be able to go even further because I guess I swim there. I also have a treasure map apparently. I heard there are some treasures hidden here. I can discard 3 determination to take a special gathering action on a tile with the mystery symbol. If successful, I draw 1 mystery card. I resolve only the trap or the treasure once per tile. Cooking tricks. We'll use salt. Lots of salt. I can discard 2 determination to change 1 food into 1 non. I'm the one who can salt it. I can actually make food unperishable.
Nice.
So we want to get me some determination so I can do that once we eventually have food.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a while. And then my last thing is tough guy. Don't worry, it's only a scratch. I can discard 1 determination to re-roll any one of the wound dice that I get during an action roll if I made it.
Nice.
So that's not bad.
Alright, so my power is Child of Fortune. I feel lucky today. Discard 2 determination to change the result of any green die, any action die. Reconnaissance. Finally, back to the wild again. Discard 2 determination to draw 3 tile cards from the stack. Look at them and choose 1. Shuffle the other 2 into the stack and place the chosen on top of the stack.
Ooh.
Motivational speech. Don't worry, I've been through worse. Discard 3 determination to increase morale by 1.
Ooh.
Scouting. That place looks interesting. I'll have a look. Discard 3 determination to draw 2 of the mystery tokens. Choose 1 and discard the other.
Sweet.
Nice.
And then the last thing that we want to talk about is we have 2 items that are automatically built that we start the game with that we can use up to 2 times each. If you notice there's white counters on them, when we use them, and anybody can, we take one of those off, and then once it's empty, we can't use that item anymore. So if you want to real quick read what those can do.
So we have the Bible.
Yep.
During the night phase.
That's during ranging the camp, the blue thing.
Yeah, during ranging the camp, players instead get 3 determination and heal instead of only 2 determination. And the other one is a helper
heal, or
and heal.
And heal. So you heal 1 wound and
So you get both
3
benefits instead of just 1.
That's not a heal though. That's a moving.
That's
Yes.
the morale. So if you choose to move the morale token, then you don't get the bonus.
Right.
But if you choose to take the determination
Oh,
instead
you
of
get the
getting 2,
determination and this healing.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay. Oh, that's
so you would
cool.
get, but you also get, instead of just 2 determination, you get 3.
Nice.
So the reason why it's not specifying is because a lot of people play with fewer than 4 players. So for us, if you choose the morale thing, you just get the morale.
Yeah.
But if you choose the determination, you're going to get 3 and you're going to heal.
Nice.
And the hammers and nails provides an extra
Builder.
worker for
Nice.
building.
I believe that only happens for that turn.
Yeah, for that turn.
So, all right.